Hey everybody, it's Retro DM Ray. I know, wait, gasp, can it be? Retro Ray is back with another video. This is a video, a second day in a row? What in the world is going on? Well, here's the deal. Continuing to read through Dragon Magazine issue number 180, following up with my last video, there's another cool article right here entitled Not Another Magical Sword. It's by Charles Rogers. It says, even the lowliest sword plus one should be unique. So I'm going to read this article for you. I hope you like it. Again, give me a thumbs up and like the video. Share it around. Subscribe if you would, please. If you're sitting on the fence, come on over. We'll talk about some good old school stuff. Click that bell icon so that way you can be notified when I do upload new videos, which has been very rare until lately. And let's just go ahead and dig right into it right now. All right, so thanks a lot for coming. He says, take number one, GM. Ahead, through the doorway, Xandar sees a large reptilian shape. Player, Xandar pulls out his sword. GM, which one? Player, his sword plus 2, plus 5 versus dragons. Cut. Though I have played D&D and AD&D games for the last 12 years, I still have not seen adequate description or descriptive coverage of the weapons detailed in fantasy gaming. Most players can name 20 to 40 different types of medieval weapons. Some players might also remember how their characters obtained their current weapons. These same players, however, can't tell you the specifics about those weapons except for their official rulebook names. Example, sword plus 2 plus 5 versus dragons. The artists who depict the weapons used by our fantasy characters have been doing an excellent job. It is time for the writers and the gamers to catch up. Most weapons outlast the characters wielding them, being passed on to fellow characters or subsequent generations. Some of these weapons may be complex enough to deserve their own record sheets. Every weapon should have at least a name. Even a high-quality dagger costing 20 gold pieces should receive a nickname from its owner. Names like Small Fry, Needle, or maybe even Minimal might apply. I also feel that not every weapon with a bonus to hit should be considered magical. A weapon might be superior in balance, have an exceptionally keen edge, be of superior workmanship, or boast exotic steel in its blade. It might have special magical powers due to certain features on the weapon itself, though the blade itself is not magical. If characters use their non-magical weapons to pry open gates and chests, these non-magical bonuses won't last for long. Any weapon with bonuses of plus 3 or more should exhibit some type of magical enhancement that was given for a logical reason. The following are just a few of the many possible materials to increase our options on weapon detail. Be creative in the weapons used in your campaign. Brainstorming blades. The following are suggestions for the materials, shapes, and decorations for fantasy swords. After that is a format for detailing a magical blade and some questions that should be answered when a DM creates any magical weapon for use in his campaign. Steel alloyed blade materials. Mithril, adamantite, stainless, high carbon, it will rust, Damascus, layered steel. Other blade materials, magically strengthened. Crystal or glass with glass steel, obsidian, ceramic, bone. Blade shapes and features. Straight, curved, tapered, kriss, a wavy blade, blood grooves with fullers, notches. Handguard materials, brass, bronze, steel, or nickel. Handguard shapes, arched snakes, clenched fists, clashing dragons, human or godlike forms. Handle materials, ivory, fossilized ivory, antler, horn, human or monster bone, dragon teeth, ebony or exotic wood, marble, jade, leather-wrapped metal. Handle shapes and features, straight, tapered, fluted, with straight or spiral grooves, prism, flat sides not rounded, hand-fitted, hollow, which means detachable pommel, can hold small items like gems, coins, small tools, papers, liquid. Pommel materials, steel, crystal, or large gemstone, magically strengthened. Pommel shapes and features, monster's head, cross, skull, holy symbol, treetop, hand or paw, short blade. Accents, wood engravings, picture carvings or etchings, magical runes, precious metal inlays, jewels, and gems. The Forgotten Realms accessory FR4 the Magister has a good example. or good examples of sword detail. I propose to take this one step further and use the standardized outline that follows for swords and all other remarkable weapons. Outline. Name of weapon. This can be assigned by the DM or given by the bearer of the weapon. Gold piece value. This is the average value of the weapon if sold, provided a suitable buyer can be found. Legend. This part details the weapon's history. Where did the weapon originate? Are there others like it? Who made the weapon and how? What's the age of the weapon? Why was the weapon made? Who were some of its previous owners? In what great battles was the weapon used? Where was it last known to be? Please note that not all of the weapon's legends will be necessarily true. The legend reflects what most people know of it. Appearance. A precise verbal depiction of the weapon should be given, answering questions like how big is it, what materials were used in its making and how, what is the guard made of and in what configuration, what are the handle and pommel made of, what shapes and patterns are present on the weapon, what writing, if any, is evident, and in what language. Is the weapon usually found in a sheath, a box, or some other type of container? The previous suggestions can help you make these decisions quickly. Combat bonuses. All bonuses or penalties to attack and damage are given here, including their against special opponents, e.g. lawful beings, dragons, shape changers, etc. Magical abilities. Here are detailed all the special powers, granting detection abilities, light emission, dancing, sharpness, etc., and how or when such powers operate and are also described. Intelligence. If the weapon is capable of thought, the intelligence score is given. Ego. If the weapon has willpower, the ego score is noted here. Alignment. The weapon's alignment, if any, is given here. Communication. All means of communication that the weapon is capable of are given here, including spoken languages, empathy, telepathy, pointing, pulsating, glow, or moving runes that form words along the handle or the blade. Personality. If the weapon is intelligent, has an ego, and can communicate, the details of its habits, typical responses, likes and dislikes, and other personality notes should be given as well, with notes on how it is likely to interact with anyone who picks up the weapon or activates its powers. Other questions that need to be answered concerning the new weapon are, how can this weapon be destroyed or its powers reduced or negated? Is anyone currently seeking this weapon, and does someone already have it? What possible adventures involve this weapon? 2 good blades. What follows are examples of 2 weapons using the format suggested in this article. These are weapons from my own campaign but have been slightly modified to fit the Forgotten Realms campaign world, so that they might be more useful to other gamers. Soul Seeker. Gold piece value, 7,500 GP. Legend, from the volcanoes of the Great Sand Sea come large amounts of lava, some of which has large pieces of obsidian in it. The desert nomads have learned the art of flint knapping and have used obsidian tips on their spears for centuries. Highly skilled artisans are able to make large blades for daggers. Soulseeker is such a blade. A war fought deep in the Underdark's caverns resulted in the destruction of many of the evil creatures involved. The remains of some of the vilest fiends were melted into a magical lava flow, forming an especially large chunk of obsidian. One of the great blade makers used this piece of obsidian to make Soulmaker. The name is derived from the fact that the fiend's flesh in the blade is constantly seeking a soul for itself. This blade has killed many times and seeks more souls. The blade traveled from the Great Sand Sea to the trading cities. A blade collector in Waterdeep sent for the dagger, but Soulseeker never reached its destination because of a theft from a trading caravan. The last known rumor is that the blade is in the hands of Waterdeep's black market, perhaps having made its way to the city of Skullport from the Ruins of Undermountain box set and Dragon issue number 172, seeing the sights of Skullport. Appearance. Soulseeker has a 20 centimeter glassy black obsidian blade that is approximately 4 centimeters wide at the guard. The blade was made using flint knapping and has a slow taper to the point. The handle is made of fossilized ivory. The guard is gold with inlaid runes of onyx, and the butt cap is also of golden onyx. The blade travels the handle is made of fossilized ivory, the guard is gold with inlaid runes of onyx, and the butt cap is also of golden onyx. The blade travels in a silk-lined case made of ebony, with gold hinges, and a cover that is a thin sheet of translucent obsidian. Combat bonuses. +2 to hit, +5 to damage. Magical abilities. Soul Stealing. See the following. On a failed saving throw versus death magic, and then detect evil good in a 60-foot radius, detect invisible objects in a 10-foot radius, detect magic in a 30-foot radius. This blade has one of the sharpest edges available. Obsidian edges are prized by the Nomad healers for use in surgical procedures. The strongest power of Soulseeker is the stealing of souls. Anyone who is hit by the blade with a natural 20 must save versus death magic or lose his soul to the blade, dying at once. If the victim dies from a hit by the blade, his soul is automatically taken into the blade, and the creature cannot be resurrected. Only a wish spell can bring back a soul and permit resurrection. Those of alignments other than that of the blade suffer 1d6 hit points damage every round they touch any part of this weapon, unless they are its victims, and suffer damage as detailed otherwise. Intelligence 17, Ego 16, Alignment Chaotic Evil. Communication speaks common. Personality. Soulseeker makes no pretense of its true goals, but it is remarkably seductive to any chaotic evil being that grasps its hilt. It always tries to control its owner and urge him to slay victims at every possible turn, seeking all souls possible, though it will encourage stealth and duplicity to keep the killing spree going as long as it can. Soulseeker especially seeks victims of high level or high social standing, gladly stealing the soul of a great wizard, mayor, priest, or general. Other. Soulseeker saves against attacks as rock at +2 and can be destroyed in any number of ways. 2 good aligned churches, 1 assassin's guild, and 4 adventuring parties are currently seeking this weapon to either destroy it or make use of this item. Spellbinder. Gold piece value, 10,000 GP. Legend. A warrior named Algor and a nameless evil wizard decided to end their feud of many years with a duel. Algor, realizing his magical inferiority, had a special sword crafted that would absorb spells cast by an opponent. On the day of the duel, Algor presumed he was now superior, but he should not have trusted an evil wizard to fight fair. At a decisive moment in their battle, the wizard was joined by 2 of his evil cohorts. Simultaneously, all 3 blasted Algor with spells. Algor was annihilated, and his possessions were thrown across space and time. Several years and many miles away, a farmer found Algor's sword in his field, and he traded the blade for animals and equipment. The sword has changed hands many times since. Spellbinder once reported to have been offered as a payment for a glass of ale in a tavern. Most of its owners never realized Spellbinder's full potential. Spellbinder was also known as Algor's weakness after its history was made public by a wizard sage. Appearance. The extremely sharp, layered steel blade is 120 centimeters long overall. This well-balanced weapon measures 160 centimeters. The blade has a single blood groove and 2 bilateral notches near the base. The handle is of a deeply fluted dragon bone with a gold ring at each of the flutes. The guard is curved toward the point and ends in 2 claws grasping crystalline spheres. The face of the guard has 2 large triangular sapphires with their points together. The pommel is conical. If found, the crystal spheres will probably already be shattered or absent. Combat. +2 to hit, +3 to damage. Magical abilities. Absorbs, as a rod of absorption, up to 12 levels of wizard or clerical spells, 12 first-level spells or 6 second-level spells, etc. Detects magic in a 30-foot radius. This sword can be wielded by members of any alignment. The sword must be held by its handle to absorb incoming spells. No part of the hand can touch the blade or the guard. The crystal spheres absorb the spells, each sphere absorbing 6 levels. If the wielder attempts to absorb more than this amount in a single round without discharging some of the spell energy, the spheres shatter and the sword no longer absorbs any spell levels until the crystals are replaced. They can be had at a glassware shop for roughly 50 gold pieces each, but enchanting each of the spheres with the proper spells is quite a bit more expensive, requiring a wizard of 16th level or greater. Intelligence 12, Ego 11, Alignment neutral, Communication, Empathy. Personality. Spellbinder is a bit of a snob, and wants an owner that it cannot easily control. In the past, Spellbinder has constantly kept on the move from owner to owner, forcing its users to trade it away if he or she did not measure up to the sword's standards. It is currently seeking an owner who understands the schools of magic, preferably a fighter wizard. The weapon wants to be polished often, and kept in a nice gem-encrusted scabbard. Other. The evil wizard who engineered Algor's death has become a lich. As a side interest, the Lich has begun to look into rumors of a sword matching the one Algor used against it years ago, and it would like to obtain this weapon simply to add it to its trophy collection. With all this information in mind now, let's revisit the opening scene in this article. Take number 2. GM. Ahead, through the doorway, Xandar sees a large reptilian shape. Player. He unsheathes Drake Doom and waves its crisp blade before him. GM. His blade's blue marble handle gives off a soft fluorescent glow. Player. Ah, so the exquisitely sharp edges of the sword will penetrate the dragon's scales. GM. Roll for initiative. I think that's really awesome. I do. An example of a thing that I played many years ago, back when I first started AD&D. I had a Hammer of Thunderbolts, a Gauntlet of Ogre Power, a Girdle of, I believe it was Fire Giant Strength, for my Halfling Fighter, of all things, a Fighter Thief. And he, after several adventures, found the name of this blade, which was just Mjol instead of Mjolnir. And he was like a little mini Thor. Maybe that was Monty Hall, but maybe not. He had level limits. Didn't really last all that long after he used that, but it was quite a fun character to play. Magical items that have things like that just really stick with you, and so I agree with this article in that regard. If you decide to use that in your game, or if you've used anything like this in your game for weapons or items or anything like that, hey, put it in the comments. I'd love to read about that. I like to hear those kinds of things. Otherwise, thanks again for listening. I'm glad I could come back for another short video today. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share and all the other stuff. Check the channel for ways you can support, and I appreciate you. God bless you. Take care. May all your rolls be nat 20s. Later.